In this video, I'm going to teach you how I use the TDR shark fin strategy. It's a very simple strategy with one indicator that I use. And I know what you're probably thinking, oh my God, indicators. And I agree, I'm not a fan of indicators either. But if you couple this with the last video that I taught about SMT, you can capitalize on some very good opportunities with just using these two simple things together. Okay, so in this strategy, all you need to do is you're going to come up here and go to your indicators and you're going to type in TDI. And what's going to come up is the TDI's gold mines. You're going to click this one right here, add it to your chart. Once you do, it's going to look like this. And what you're going to do is you're going to go down to the 4-hour time frame. And what we're going to do is we're going to note every single time it pierces this band. So think of it as like this. When you take this box right here and you draw this out, think of it as like a shark fin. What you want to see is you want to see it come up and pierce outside and come back in, just like this. So if we go ahead and exit this, you can see here on the 4-hour, I'm going to mark every single time that this happens. So you can see there's one right here. If we mark this, we'll just put a little circle so everyone can see. And then there's another one right here. So just look down here. Every single time we pierce this, look what happens on price. Happens again right here. If we look right here, there's another one right here. And there's another one right here. So this happens time and time again. And again, I only use this on the 4-hour time frame. On every other time frame, I don't really care. I just only use it on the 4-hour, and it's with the stock settings that come with the indicator. So as you can see here, you'll start to notice that every single time there's a pierce here, we get a violent reaction, but not all of them are created equal. And we're going to go over the reasons why in a few minutes. So as you can see, we're marking all these out. Now let's take a closer look at some of these and see how could we use these to get into trade opportunities. Well, for this example, it's pretty crystal clear. We have resistance right here, resistance, we come break above, and then we have support. We have support here, we have support here. So if we take a closer look at this, how could we trade this? Well, you can see here that we have this low right here. We come and sweep this low, we pull up above, retest it, and we move to trade up above. Now we couple that with this shark fin happening right here, and it can just tell us that if we're looking to take this trade already, it's just more confluence that this is a high probability setup. So let's look at it even closer. If we go ahead and exit this whole chart and we go to the daily time frame, how can we really pinpoint which one is going to work and which isn't? Well, if we look at this daily chart right here, you can see there's this very clear low. We come up, we make this high, and we break down right here. So in order for price to break this low, obviously we're going to need a large amount of selling pressure to happen from this zone right here. Okay, so let's look and zoom in here and see if we can find some kind of trading setup inside of this, going over what we just went. So if you look at the 4-hour time frame here, you can see what do we have. So there's no confluence for this right here. There's nothing right here, but there is a very small fin right here. So we slightly pierce the band right here on this retest. So if we zoom in even closer, let's see if we could find anything else. So that happened in price right here on the 1-hour time frame, right here on this retest. So if we go and pull up the old chart, if you watch the last video, when you have an example of SMT, when you have an ES chart and an NQ chart, what we want to see is we want to see one make a higher high and the other one make a relative low. So we have the 4-hour shark fin, we have a massive level of resistance, and we have, what do we have right here on ES? We have ES making a higher high and NQ failing to make a new high. So if you watch the last video, you can see that the best place to take the trade would be right here with your stop loss above this high. Now we're going to put the risk reward tool here. If we go like this and with our stops above the high, so this is 3 pieces of confluence. We have 1, the shark fin. We have 2, a massive level of support resistance. And then 3, we have SMT. So we have 3 things telling us to take this trade. And if you were to just take it right here to the most recent relative level of support, you could get a beautiful almost 2R trade right here. Depending where you got in on your entry, you're looking at about 1.5R. And if you took it down to these relative lows, since you are trading from a massive level, it makes sense to be able to do that. You're looking at 4R. So let's take an even deeper look. If we look closer at this chart and we look at the daily, So if we're trading out of this massive level, it's fair to assume that we're going to go down to the next massive level. So if we look at the daily, even the weekly right here, you can see that these down candles led to this massive up move. Now, when we come back deep inside this weekly block right here, we can expect to see some type of reaction. Now let's see if there's anything else telling us that we can potentially look for buys. If we pull up the shark fin, the TDI tool that we just went over, you can see here that we have what? A massive shark fin right here when we're trading into this weekly block. So it's again, two confluencing factors to tell us that we could potentially look for longs inside this zone. Now let's pull up the SMT from the previous video and see if we have something else. So right now we're looking at the 4-hour time frame. We're going to look at the 1-hour time frame. So we're going to zoom down a little bit. So if we go to where was it? Right here. So you can see here on this chart, we have a new low being made on ES, but on NQ, we're not making a new low. So not only are we trading into a weekly block, we have a shark fin, and again, we have SMT. So this is two setups all within a 2-week span of doing the exact same thing. I look at this every single week in the market. It's super simple. Once you have that TDI indicator on your chart, you just simply double click your mouse and it pops up and you can look at it a couple seconds. So right here, you have a new low on ES and we have a failure to make a new low on NQ. So where are we going to look for trades? Anywhere inside this, as long as it doesn't break this low. So if we take it along right here and we look to target what are we going to target? We're going to target the most recent relative level of resistance, which is right here. So that gives us 2.5R. And as you can see, it comes up and beautifully hits it right here. So once again, you want to look at it on the 4-hour time frame. It's very simple. You just double click your mouse and it pops up here in the bottom. You can make it as big as you want. I usually keep it super small. We come down into a massive level and you just look for the shark fin to happen. And all it is just another confluence factor to look for trades in the same direction. So if we exit this here and we focus on this chart, we'll go to the 4-hour one more time and we'll just look for a massive level of support and resistance. So if you come here to the daily chart, you can see, let's draw out the next massive level of support or resistance. So which would be, let's look at this example for one. We have a massive high rate here. These down candles led to this big up move to break this structure. So if we draw this big block out right here, it's fair to assume when we come back into this zone, we're going to see some type of reaction. So if we go to the 4-hour and we look at price inside this zone, let's see if there's anything else giving us a reason to buy. So once again, you can see we have a beautiful shark fin right here. So for one, we have a massive weekly down candle that led to an up move. Once we come back into this zone, it's fair to assume we're going to look for buys. We pull up the shark fin, you can tell us again that we're looking for buys. And then if we get rid of it and we go back to the old video for the SMT, you can see if we look here, what else do we have? Let's see if we can find something else. So we have a new low being formed here. So let's couple it down to the smaller time frame. There wasn't any SMT on the hourly, but let's see if there will be on the higher time frame or the lower time frame. So you can see here we have a new low once again being formed on ES with a failure to make a new low right here. Sorry, this one right here. So we have a new low being formed right here and a failure to make a new low right here. But once again, we have that weekly level, we have the 4-hour shark fin, and we have SMT. This happens again and again and again. Even if you don't use this indicator, a lot of people are likely trading it without even looking at it. So what you can do is a lot of the time when you don't get it, this TDI shark fin, when you're first learning, you can avoid the setups that don't have it and your strike rate will go through the roof. I know a lot of people are going to shit on indicators, and I do too. They are lagging indicators of price, but this is the one thing I've heavily back tested and it works very, very well time and time again.